Yo, what's up my people? Kiwami Games here, back at it with another video for you guys. And today, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time of the month. And no, I am not talking about a maxi pad. I'm talking about vampires, baby. Alright, and this time I decided to update my Spright Vampires deck. I just wanted to see, is Spright still a very good engine to run with vampires, or have the hits and the nerfs to Spright make the deck less consistent and less powerful? So let's find out in this video. So I've always enjoyed the Spright archetype. I thought that the Spright Vampires worked pretty well, and it was one of my favorite ways to play vampires, so really excited to update it. And yeah, so without further ado, let's just jump right into these replays. Let's make this intro very short. I know you guys just want to see the gameplay, but as always, stick all the way to the end, as I'll go through the deck list at the end. And as always, my beautiful people, if you enjoyed the video, then why not consider dropping a like, share, comment, and subscribe. It will greatly help me out. I am nearly to 1,000 subscribers, so I would greatly appreciate it if you guys can help me get there. So thank you, and without further ado, let's jump right into this business. Alright my people, so in this replay we are going to go up against Swordsoul. And our hand is not the greatest, but it's also not the worst. So we're going to activate Foolish Burial just to see if he has an Ash Blossom or anything like that. Alright, so we're going to send Banshee to the graveyard. Then we're going to activate Spright Starter. Now if you're new to Spright for whatever reason, unless if like you really have to, I always save Spright Starter as the last thing to do, because the Spright Starter is going to lock you into level, rank, and link to monsters only. So sometimes you won't be able to go into your regular combo pieces if you activate Spright Starter first. So in any other situation, I would always try to have Spright Starter as my last card to activate before I do anything. But here, since we don't have any other starters, so I gotta go with the Spright Starter. So we get the blue is going to search for the red, and then with these two monsters we're going to go into our gigantic Spright. Okay, then we're going to activate the gigantic Spright, and then we're going to special summon our retainer. The retainer is going to get us our Omni Negate trap card. Okay, then with the gigantic Spright and the retainer, we're going to go into the elf. Alright, and then with the elf, we're going to bring back the red. Special summon that boy. And then I'm going to activate the retainer, sending the sorcerer to the graveyard, special summoning itself. And then now I have an Omni Negate and I have a monster negate. And that's the reason why I didn't go into Masquerena, just because I feel like I have two interruptions. If I go to the Masquerena, then I have to sacrifice one of these, because on my opponent's turn I'm only going to be able to revive either the red or the blue. So in this case I decided to keep both on the field just so that I can have two interruptions. And our opponent is going to hit us with the lightning storm, so he's going to destroy my attack position monsters. So before the elf gets destroyed, I'm going to special summon the blue. Okay, then we're going to activate the blue and we're going to search for the jet. Alright, and then in response to that, we're also going to activate our Banshee, getting our Zombie World onto the field. And now, Zombie World is very detrimental to Swordsoul, because of Zombie World, all of their monsters are now going to be zombies and not worms. So they're not going to be able to go into their usual worm synchro monsters. And then here I activate Maxx, and he's going to hit me with the Call by the Grave. I'm actually going to negate the Call by the Grave with the Omni Negate, because he's going to have to special summon a token, and then after the token he has to special summon his synchro monster. So I'm going to be able to at least draw two cards. And because my hand right now is not the best, I want to get some cards. Otherwise I would have not negated this. But anyways, so as I mentioned, because he needs non-tuner worm monsters, he's not really going to be able to go into the Grandmasters, but instead he's going to go into the Draco Berserker Tenyi. But it's all good, because my opponent doesn't know that my second name is Lucius, and I am about to sun this dude like he's my son Draco. Alright, so he's going to smack my red, he's going to smack my blue, and then he's going to get a damage boost. But it's all good. Okay, so we draw into our ghost. So we're going to normal summon the, we're going to special summon the jet, and then the jet is going to search me for another Spright Starter. And because we have a level 2 monster on the field, the jet can special summon itself. Alright, so now we special summon the carrot, normal summon the ghost. The ghost is going to send the the other ghost to the graveyard. I'm going to search for Voivode. Alright, and then now with the retainer and the ghost, I'm gonna go into our vampire sucker. Activate the sucker so I can special summon his mourner. I'm gonna be able to draw a card. Mourner is gonna activate, getting himself a token. But that's all good because now my opponent has 2 zombie monsters on the field. So now I'm gonna be able to normal summon my Voivode, and I'm gonna be able to tribute away his monsters. Alright, so we activate Ghost so that I can get another normal summon. And we tribute away his monsters, special normally summon our Voivode. And we're going to steal his 2 monsters. But my opponent has Nibiru. So say goodbye to my field. Hello, big fat token. And then now I can go into some Spright shenanigans. So I activate the Spright starter, getting the blue. I'm going to activate also the desire. So with the desire, I am going to resurrect the retainer and send the blue to the graveyard. Alright, and then now with the retainer, I'm going to search for our domain. So I'm going to activate the domain, pay 500 life points so that I can get another normal summon. And then I'm going to activate the sorcerer in the graveyard. So the sorcerer is going to allow me now to normal summon our fraulein without having to tribute any monsters. And then here it was kind of like a misplay. So what I was trying to do is, as you all know, fraulein, whenever she destroys a monster, at the end of the battle phase, you can special summon it to your side of the field. But the problem here is that the Nibiru was not properly summoned. The Nibiru was summoned through its special effect. So because of this reason, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to steal the Nibiru from my opponent's graveyard, which kind of sucks, and it's kind of like a stupid ruling. But now with the fraulein and the retainer, I'm going to go back into my second elf. Activate the elf, bringing back the carrot. And I bring back the carrot just because I don't know what this back row is, but he's been holding onto it, so just in case. Okay, then he's going to normal summon Ecclesia. I'm going to activate elf, he's going to activate the Ecclesia. Okay, so with the Ecclesia, he's going to special summon the mourner. I'm going to special summon the red. Then the mourner is going to activate. I'm going to negate and destroy the mourner by sacrificing the elf. And even though I know he has Ataya, so he's still going to be able to make another synchro monster. But the reason why I negate the mourner is because now he's just going to be able to have 1 synchro monster as opposed to 2 synchro monsters. So with this, he's going to go into the Emancipator because he cannot go into any of his Swordsoul related synchro monsters due to Zombie World. Alright, and he's going to kill my red. And then we're going to pass turn. Alright, so we draw into our Ash Blossom. I'm going to send the domain to the graveyard, so just summoning our retainer. And then now with his own token, I'm just going to smack him for 8,400 damage. Shout out to my opponent though. This was a nice little fun back and forth duel. I really enjoyed it. So the power of Spright Vampires. 1 for us, 0 for our opponents. Let's keep it moving. Alright my people, in this replay we are going to go up against none other than Snake Eyes. Alright, and we're going to go second. Alright, so he's going to get rid of the bird to special summon the Belle Star. The Belle Star is going to get the Sinful Spoils. Okay, he's going to activate it. I'm actually going to negate it with the Ash Blossom. And I know this was a little risky on me, but I really do not need him to special summon in that Ash. So I'm just going to negate it. And then he's got triple tactics talent, so he's going to try to draw 2 cards. So this kind of lets me know that he doesn't have any of his starters. Alright, so lucky for us, we were able to disrupt him pretty good with that Ash. Okay, I'm going to activate Foolish Burial. Then he's going to hit me with the Ash, which is, I'm fine, I'm cool with it. Alright, he's got the alternate art form for the Ash too. So now I activate my own triple tactics talent, and I'm going to draw 2 cards. Alright, so now we normal summon our retainer. Alright, that's going to trigger his field spell to special summon his Flame Birch. I'm going to special summon the blue. Blue is going to be able to search me for another Spright card, but he's got the Effect Veiler. But it's all good because the monster that I was going to search for is the Jet, and I already got the Jet, so I special summon the Jet. Jet is going to search me for our Spright starter, but he's going to hit me with the Infinite Permanence. Alright, so it's all good. I activate my domain. Alright, and then with the blue and the retainer, we're gonna go into our Spright Elf. Okay, we're gonna activate the elf, bring back the retainer. Activate the retainer, getting ourselves our domination. Okay, then we're gonna pay for 100 life points so that we can normal summon the familiar. And then now with the elf and the jet, we're gonna go into our gigantic sprite. Alright, and then we're gonna go into the dark with the retainer and the familiar. Alright, and with the dark, we're gonna bring back the Diabell Star to our side of the field. Alright, then we're gonna activate the retainer, send the domain to the graveyard, activate the familiar, getting ourselves our Voivode. Alright, and then with the dark and the familiar, we're gonna go into our fascinator. Okay, so the fascinator is gonna steal one of his monsters, so we steal the birch. Activate the fascinator, sacrificing herself so that we can steal his flame birch. And then with his 2 snake eyes monsters, we're gonna go into that big zombie vampire. And we're gonna activate the vampire, send a whole bunch of cards to the graveyard, special summoning our banshee. And now we have more than lethal. And that's how you OTK these snake eyes fools. Let's go. I'm your father. No, homie, I'm your father. Alright, my people. So in this replay, we are going to go up against another snake eye fool. Okay, we're going to go second. Okay, he's going to activate the wanted, getting himself the Diabell Star. Alright, special summoning the Diabell Star. Diabell Star is going to search for the original Sinful Spoils. Okay, he's going to activate the Sinful Spoils, sacrificing the Diabell Star, special summoning the Ash. Ash is going to activate. I'm going to hit him with the Imperm. Okay, our opponent's got the Crossed Out Designator, but we have the Ghost Belle. I'm sorry, the Ghost Mourner. Alright, I really do not want him to get that Popular to his hand, so I really want to negate that Ash at all costs. And it's a risky move to waste 2 hand traps on that Ash, but lucky for us, it kind of paid off. Alright, so now it's up to us. Okay, so we normal summon the retainer, special summoning the blue. Blue is going to activate, but he's got his own infinite permanence. He's like, who can play that game? You imperm me, I imperm you. Alright, so now with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into the dark. Alright, and then with the dark, we're going to be able to steal his Diabell Star. But he's got the second infinite impermanence. Bro, right now, infinite impermanence has definitely gone up because of Snake Eyes, man. It is such a great counter to Snake Eyes. Okay, but we're not worried, so we're going to send the familiar to the graveyard. Special summoning the retainer, searching for our Omni Negate trap card. Okay, and with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into our Fascinator. Alright, and then with the Fascinator, we're going to steal his Diabell Star. Okay, then we're going to activate the Fascinator. But first, we're going to activate the familiar, sending the banshee to the graveyard, search for our Voivode. Alright, and then now, because I have the familiar, I can now, instead of sending the Fascinator to the graveyard, I can get rid of my familiar, and then I can steal his Ash. And then now, since we have 2 of our opponent's monsters, we can make our zombie vampire. Alright, we're going to activate the vampire, detaching the Diabell Star, sending a whole bunch of cards to the graveyard. So we're going to special summon our sorcerer. He's going to activate the Popular, sending itself back to the back row. Alright, and then now with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into our Yuki-Onna. Alright, and then we're going to set our Omni Negate. And the reason why I go into the Yuki-Onna is because sometimes Snake Eyes, they like to interact with the graveyard as well. So the Yuki-Onna has 2 monster negates pretty much. Whenever a card activates in the graveyard, I can pretty much negate a monster and then change its attack to 0. And then also any monster that try to activate in the banished zone, it gets negated. And then I have my Omni Negate with the zombie vampire, so I have like 3 interruptions here. Okay, so he's going to try to push back my Yuki-Onna, so I'm definitely going to negate that. Alright, and then that's it. That's it. We put a stop to the best deck in the game right now. Let's go. Alright, my people. In this replay, we are going to go up against some sort of like stun deck, if I remember correctly. Okay, so we're going to go first. And then here, I know you guys see Veiler, so I just want to say I was kind of debating going back and forth between Veiler and Ghost Mourner. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to use, but at the end of the day, I think I decided to stick with Ghost Mourner. And the reason is because Veiler can only be used during your opponent's turn, while Ghost Mourner can be used during both turns. Also, the Veiler needs to go to the graveyard, and the Mourner doesn't necessarily need to be sent to the graveyard to activate. So I just felt the Mourner was maybe a little more versatile than the Veiler. But the only downside to the Mourner is that you can only activate the Ghost Mourner whenever your opponent special summons a monster. Where the Veiler, you kind of have the freedom to negate whatever you want. So up to you guys. So I think Veiler and Mourner are pretty good hand traps to be running right now. So yeah. Okay, so with the Foolish Burial, we're going to send the Banshee. We're going to activate our Spright starter. He's going to hit me with the Retaliating Sea. So now this right here is kind of like a little floodgate, because if summoned this way, any card that is sent to the field, from the field to the graveyard, is banished instead. So this is kind of like a little floodgate. I guess this is to counter Snake Eyes. Okay, then we're going to activate the blue. Then that's going to pretty much trigger his Rescue Ace to special summon itself, to tribute itself, so that he can special summon the Rescue Ace Fire Attacker. Then the Fire Attacker is going to activate, drawing 2 cards. Okay, then we're going to special summon our red. Okay, and with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into the Gigantic Spright. I'm going to activate the Gigantic Spright. Here I misclicked. I meant to send the blue. I meant to send the blue to the graveyard and not the red. So I accidentally got rid of the red, and you don't want to get rid of the red because this is your monster negate. So yeah, be careful with that. So the retainer is going to activate, searching for my domination. I'm going to activate Triple Tactus Talon. I'm going to take over that Retaliating Sea, because it's really bad for us to have our cards being banished. I don't need that right now, so I need to get rid of that Retaliating Sea. So using his Retaliating Sea and the retainer, we're going to go into the Spright Elf. And now the Retaliating Sea is going to be able to fetch him a Maxx, bro. That card is ridiculous. Okay, so we bring back our retainer. Retaliating Sea is going to get him the Maxx. Okay, so of course he's going to activate the Maxx. Alright, and then with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into our Masquerena. Alright, and then we're just going to set the Omni Negate and pass. Alright, he's going to normal summon the Raisin. I am going to negate that, because at this moment, I don't know what the heck this guy's playing. I'm thinking, okay, now he's playing Vanquished Soul, so the Raisin needs to be negated, if that's the case. Okay, then I'm going to activate the blue, special summon, activate the L, special summon in the blue. Blue is going to give me the Jet. That's going to trigger his Fire Attacker, but I got the Veiler, so I'm going to negate that, because he's going to be able to draw 2 cards. Alright, and then on top of that, bro, he's playing Melfi, bro. I don't know what this man's deck is. It's like Floodgates, Rescue Ace, Vanquished Soul, Melfi, like... What the fuck? What kind of deck is he playing? I don't know. And he also has Hop Ear Squadron. So now he's going to be able to special summon the Hop Ear Squadron. And then he's going to be able to synchro summon during my turn. So he's going to go into the XL. Alright. Okay, so my Familiar is going to search for my Voivode. And then the XL is going to activate. The Melfis are going to activate. And then the Wally is also going to activate. Okay, I'm going to activate my Elf. Special summoning the retainer. Okay, so the retainer is going to come back. Wally's going to search for the puppy and the caddy. Alright, and then he's going to bring back the Hop Ear Squadron with the Axo. I'm going to search for Voivode. I'm going to activate retainer. He's going to activate the Axo. So with the Axo, he's going to go into the Stardust Dragon. Alright, and then with the Stardust Dragon, he's going to be able to negate some cards. And then with these 3 monsters, he's going to go into the Ariumpos. So he also has some Gaudy action going on over here. Okay, so the Ariompa is going to activate. He's going to get rid of the Ruby. Ruby's going to activate, so now he's going to be able to synchro summon again. So he's going to go now into the Ascan. And this is all on my turn too. I'm like, okay, sure. I mean, but my man has no idea what's about to happen to him. Y'all already know. We got Zombie World on the field. We got Vampire Sucker on the field. And we got Voivode in our hand. This fool right now has no idea what's about to hit him. Boom. Thank you for putting 2 monsters on your side of the field. Greatly appreciated. Oh man, I swear bro, this has to be the best feeling ever whenever you're playing vampires. I just never get tired of special of normal summoning Voivode by getting rid of my opponent's monsters as tribute instead of my own. That is like the greatest feeling ever when playing vampires. Alright my beautiful people, in this replay we are gonna go up against Stun Kashtira. Alright, so we go in second. So our opponent is going to special summon the unicorn. He's going to activate the unicorn, but we have that infinite permanent, so we're going to prevent him from searching for the Theosis or the birth, whatever he may need. Okay, then he's going to normal summon the Fossil Dyna, and he's going to have Dimensional Fissure, bro. So now any monster that gets sent to the graveyard is banished, and then this is going to prevent me from special summoning any monsters. But lucky for us, bro, our deck is built pretty good. We draw into our second Imperm, so we're going to negate that Fossil Dyna. Normal summon our Retainer, special summon the red and Retainer. We're going to go into Gigantic Spright. Now, there's another thing too. I mentioned that the Spright starter locks you into level 2s. The Gigantic Spright also locks you into level 2. So those are the 2 cards that you always have to keep track of whenever you're playing Spright with any other variant. You don't want to lock yourself into Link 2s and then later on be like, oh snap, why I cannot special summon any monsters. Alright, so just keep that in mind. Alright, so now we special summon the blue. That's going to trigger the unicorn. The unicorn is going to banish my Masquerena. Okay, we're going to search for the jet. Special summoning the jet. Jet is going to get me my second starter. Alright, and then now with these 2 monsters, we're going to go into our elf. Okay, activate the elf, bring back the retainer. The retainer is going to search for my domain. I'm going to activate the domain. Activate the Spright starter, special summoning the carrot. And then now I'm going to activate the domain. So domain is going to allow me to have another normal summon. Okay, so now with my domain, I can normal summon my Voivode by getting rid of the jet and the retainer. Okay, so now I can attack over his Fossil Dyna, and now Voivode can attack over his unicorn. And then because the domain is on the field, I can gain some life points. Alright, and then, sorry about that, if he activates any back row, I can negate with the carrot. Okay, he's got the another Dimensional Fissure. I'm going to bring back the red. So now I have a monster and a spell negate, and I have kind of like a Gravedigger's, whatever the thing it is, you know, the Gravedigger shit. I forgot the name of the card. Voivode negates hand traps. And that's a wrap. That's a wrap. Let's go, baby. Spright Vampires. Such a fun. Alright, my beautiful people. In this replay, we are going to go up against Swordsoul. Alright, and we're going to go first. Okay, so we're going to normal summon our Retainer, special summon the carrot. He's going to hit me with the Maxx. So I don't want to give him any other draw, so I'm just going to set Imperm and pass. Alright, he's got the Long Yawn. Long Yawn is going to send the Tide to the graveyard, special summon itself, getting himself the token. With the Long Yawn and the token, he's going to go into Baron de la Flor. Okay, then the Long Yawn is going to burn me for 1200. He's going to get rid of my carrot. He's going to activate the Sacred Soul. That's going to special summon back the Taya. Taya is going to get him another token. I'm going to effect battle the Taya because I don't need him to go into the Grandmaster. That's going to trigger his Baron de la Flor. But we got the Infinite Permanence to negate the negate. Negate the Baron. Negate the Taya. Alright, and then now since I have Fraulein, Fraulein can special summon herself. Alright, and he's going to normal summon the Ash. I guess he's really desperate. So with the Ash and the Taya, he's going to go into the Yazi. So the Yazi is now going to be able to pop my fraulein. Alright, then that's going to trigger the Yazi to special summon the Vashuda, and then the Vashuda is going to go into the Monk of the Tenyi. Okay, then he's going to activate the Ashuna, special summoning another Vashuda into the field. Alright, but the good thing is we made him use the Baron de Flor negate, so now we can activate our starter, getting our blue. Blue is going to search for our red, special summon the red, and then now with the retainer and the blue, we're going to go into our elf. Okay, then we're going to activate the elf, bringing back our carrot, but he's got the infinite impermanence. Alright, so with these two monsters, we're going to go into our gigantic sprite. And now the gigantic sprite was made with the L, which is a link monster, so it's going to give it the attack boost. So now we search for the retainer. Retainer is going to get us our Omni Negate trap card. So now I can attack into the monk, and now the gigantic sprite is big enough to take out the Baron. So now he just got the Vashuda on the field, and we got an Omni Negate. Okay, so with the Vashuda, he's going to link off into the Monk of the Tenyi. Okay, then the Vashuda is going to activate. He's going to spin back my gigantic sprite. I let it rock, because if anything, his monk cannot attack over my retainer, and I just trying to be careful with my Omni Negate. Okay, so we draw into Ghost. So Ghost is going to send the retainer, search for the sorcerer, send the familiar, activate the familiar, send the sorcerer to the graveyard, special summon the familiar, search for a Voivode, activate retainer, send our ghost to the field, and he doesn't want any smoke with vampires, so he's just gonna call it quits. Alright, my beautiful people, welcome to the deck list portion of the video, and as always, thank you so much for making it this far into the video. If you saw it from beginning to end, I greatly appreciate it. And if you hit that like and subscribe button, I'm gonna bake you a cake whenever we have the chance to meet, if ever. Thank you all so much just for the support. So without further ado, let's just jump right into the card by card. So first of all, we run in one familiar, and the reason why I run one familiar is because with vampires, I just kind of build it around Voivode. So the only purpose that I have for familiar right now is to search me Voivode, so that's why I run one. And then I run 3 retainers because it's a level 2, so the retainer can kind of be like a starter as well. If you ever open up with retainer and opening up with a bunch of your sprite cards, then you can always normal summon the retainer, and then that's going to allow you to special summon your sprite monsters. Okay, and then we run 3 Maxx because, you know, Maxx is just such a broken card right now. It just wins you games. Okay, then we have 2 Spright Blue. This is going to be your main sprite searcher. Okay, you special summon this, and then you can search for the jet. And then when you search for the jet, you can special summon the jet, and then the jet is going to search you for your sprite starter. Alright, and then the other sprite monsters that we run is the red. The red is pretty much a monster negate. You can tribute one other level 2 rank or link 2 monster, and then you can negate the effect of a monster on the field. And then the carrot does the same, but just that it's going to negate a spell or trap card that gets activated. So we run 1 red, 1 carrot. Here I run 2 ash blossoms, and I run 2 because I wanted it to test out other hand traps. So my hand traps, I also have 1 ghost belle. It didn't show up a lot, but mainly it's because Snake Eyes, you know, they like to activate a lot of stuff from the graveyard as well. So the ghost belle can also counter that, and then also the ghost belle can counter Call by the Grave. So I was just testing it out. It didn't come up a whole lot, but I think it's a card worth playing. And then I have 2 Ghost Mourner, and as I mentioned in the video, I was debating going back and forth between Ghost Mourner and Effect Veiler. At the end of the day, I decided to go with the Ghost Mourner, but I think Effect Veiler is also a pretty good choice right now as well in hand traps. And then for the vampires, we also run 3 Ghosts, as that's our other starter. And then we run 1 Sorcerer. Sorcerer is just pretty much to allow you to normal summon Voivode without having to tribute anything on the field. And then we run 1 Banshee. Banshee is just there to get you your zombie world on the field. And then we have 1 Fraulein. Fraulein can special summon herself from the hand during the damage step, so it can give your zombie monsters an attack boost. And then with zombie world on the field, you know, everything turns into a zombie, so that can let the Fraulein pop off. Alright, and then we've got the boss monster for vampires, Voivode. You already know. If Zombie World is on the field and you have Vampire Sucker on the field, you can tribute your opponent's monster instead of yours and summon this bad boy onto the field. And then when you special summon this bad boy, you can steal 2 monsters from your opponent's graveyard, and then you can use those 2 monsters, and then you can either go into the Vampire or you can go into the Zombie Vampire. And then, as I mentioned in the video, the Voivode is also kind of like a hand trap negator. When a monster activates from the hand that resolves in the graveyard, you can pretty much negate it. Okay, then we run 1 Harpies Feather Duster. And then we got 1 Foolish Burial. Foolish Burial is pretty much there to mill Banshee most of the time so that you can get access to the Zombie World. And then we have Desire. So Desire was a very versatile card that I thought about experimenting with, that I don't play a whole lot in the vampire decks that I run. But the good thing about this card is that the first effect is that you can target 1 face-up monster you control, send 1 vampire monster from your deck to the graveyard with a different level, and if you do, the targeted monster becomes the level of that sent monsters. So what can you do with this card? Say for example, if you have Fraulein on the field. Fraulein is a level 5 monster. So with with Desire, you can send Retainer to the graveyard. Retainer is now a level 2. So that's going to turn Fraulein into a level 2 monsters, which means that if you have your Spright monsters in your hands, now you're going to be able to special summon your Spright monsters because Fraulein now became a level 2. So that's one way that I found to be useful using the Desire. And the other one is kind of like a Monster Reborn for vampires, where you can target 1 vampire monster in your graveyard, send 1 monster you control to the graveyard, and if you do, you can special summon the targeted monster. So it's another good way to get Retainer onto the field so that you can activate its effect to search for the Omni-Negate trap card, Vampire Domination, or if you want to search for Vampire's Domain. So yep, I feel Vampire's Desire is pretty versatile, and I think it's really worth experimenting more. And then we have 2 Triple Tactics Talent. We got the 1 Zombie World, and then we have 2 Call by the Graves, and then we have 1 Forbidden Droplet, 2 Spright Starters, and 3 Infinite Impermanence. Right now, Infinite Impermanence is really great as a going second card, especially against Snake Eyes, because this right here can most of the time put a stop to their combos. If you imperm the Ash and they have no access to the Poplar, then a lot of times that can kind of pretty much put a stop to them, even though that deck is just full of gas and recursion and everything that you can think of. And then lastly, we got our Vampire Domination. But speaking of Snake Eyes, I actually have a Vampire Snake Eyes deck. If you guys would like to see a video on that, let me know down below. I know a lot of people are probably tired of seeing Snake Eyes everywhere, but I was just testing out to see what would be the best engine for vampires, because you know vampires are super power crept, but if we combine them with more of kind of like I guess meta related decks, you know, I just wanted to see, can we make them as competitive as we can? So I do have like a Snake Eyes vampire deck, and if you guys would like to see a video on that, drop it down below and I'll make a video. But yep, with the extra deck we have 1 Gigantic Spright, we got 1 Vampire Sheridan, 1 Zombie Vampire, 1 Linkuriboh, 1 Vampire Sucker, 1 Masquerena, 1 Dark Charmer, 2 Spright Elves, 1 Unicorn. Unicorn is just kind of like my Access Code Talker package. Then we have 1 Vampire Fascinator. As you guys saw in some of the replays, you can pretty much steal a monster from your opponent's graveyard, and then you can tribute this monster, the Fascinator, or you can tribute another vampire monster that you have on the field, and then you can steal one of your opponent's monsters that they have on the field, and then you can use those 2 monsters to go into Vampire Sheridan or the Zombie Vampire. And then we have then we have 1 Mech Knight Crusader Avermax. Then we got the Beast Yuki Onna, Access Cold Talker to help close out games. It didn't really come up a whole lot, but yep. And then we got the Boss Lady Underworld Goddess. This is such a great card right now against Snake Eyes as well, because this card right here can negate everything on the field. But yeah, so that's an updated version to my Spright Vampire deck. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what what's your favorite engine when it comes to playing vampires. I know some people ask me about Gold Pride vampires, and I think Gold Pride Vampires is worth experimenting with right now. Because you know, you burn life points playing vampires, so it can kind of help the Gold Pride, but making the connection amongst the two decks, it might be a little difficult because there's not really no good quote-unquote synergy amongst those two decks. But yeah, anyways, that's the deck, Spright Vampires. Thank you all so much. Have a great day. Kiwami Games, peace out.